Welcome to PrepperNow.
Please, Lord, help me get one more.
Alright friends, welcome back to PrepperNow. Want to have a little talk today, ride to work one. Start to do these a little bit more frequently when need a little more rest at night. Like to keep on schedule. It's tough to put things at times in the day with all that I got going on and make it so I'm consistent. So this is the best I can do, so I appreciate you being here. Over the last few days, it's been coming out that America and NATO and Europe are considering allowing Zelensky and Kiev to strike deeply into Russia. This is really concerning because over the last 2.5 years, things have been concentrated in the western portion of Russia, eastern portion of Ukraine. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of who thinks what and everything. I'm not going to go back and redress the fact that we probably shouldn't even be dealing with this anymore. But I think the patience of Russia is starting to grow thin. And in their minds, they wanted this to be kind of more of a control of an area that they consider to be more ethnically Russian. Now, of course, that's disputed with the West. You say, this is part of sovereign Ukraine, and, they have invaded, and we need to keep the international rules-based order, and all that. You can easily go back and talk about 2014, and talk about color revolutions and everything else. That doesn't matter anymore. All of that is gone. The problem now is that you can feel there is a desperation, not just to Ukraine, but also to the NATO countries. And the reason why is because they have shelled out tens of billions of dollars. And the goal was to basically whittle away at the strength of Russia. They thought all of this would make them weak. They thought all of this would, break the resolve of their people. And it really hasn't budged too much. Russia, of course, does not have the population that Western Europe or America has. It's probably about 10-1 or even more than that. Probably about, 7-8-1. But it doesn't matter to them, and they're not stopping. And you tack on the fact that they're getting coordination, help, aid, materials, everything from Iran and China and even India in certain instances. It's kind of tough to see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's tough to see that this side's going to win, that side's going to win. If Ukraine was on their own, it would have been over years ago, literally. But because we are helping them with all the materials and stuff and the aid, and coordinates and intelligence, everything, they're still there, and they're still, a thorn in the side of Russia. And they're starting to get, I think it's starting to get aggravating for Putin. I don't think anybody wants to use nuclear weapons or tactical nuclear weapons, but Russia pretty much said yesterday, after a couple days of talking about this, and this came out on Tuesday, that Russia will, Zelensky really wanted to get the go-ahead for the use of Western weapons. And they've been talking about this and, dancing around it for quite some time. And now, basically what America has said is you can't use our weapons specifically, the American-made ones. But if you get them from France, other NATO countries, and use them, we'll give it okay. You can strike deeply into Russia. So it's like, oh, well, you're not using American stuff, but we gave you the go-ahead. Do you really think that Vladimir Putin gives a crap who that stuff comes from? Seriously. He doesn't care. It's all NATO to him. And that's why, he basically said, if this goes on, if this happens, if they start to use French, German, whatever, ATACMS weaponry to strike deeper into the heart of our country, we will consider this an act of war. If the green light has been given, do you think that Zelensky is going to stop? Do you think he's going to care? Do you think he's going to worry about all the other countries coming in? No, that's exactly what he wants. He wants us to turn into a larger affair. He wants basically Russia versus NATO. Why do you think he's been asking to join NATO? He wants it to be Russia versus NATO because he thinks that that's the best way to win. If that happens, then what you're going to see is not just Russia versus NATO. You're going to see Ukraine with Russia versus NATO, and possibly even China with Russia and Iran versus versus NATO. Sorry, I think I screwed that up. You'll see Russia, Iran, and China join together to take on NATO all over. That's exactly what Zelensky wants. What do you think that's going to look like? I mean, the whole thing will go up in flames. There are all kinds of tinderboxes all over the world. There's a new one now. There's a new one in Africa. There's one that's Somalia and Ethiopia. That was covered last night on the crisis report. Ethiopia is amassing rockets and weapons and everything else on the border of Somalia because there's this kind of fight brewing over this area called Somaliland. If you see NATO give the go-ahead, and it's pretty much already there, if you see strikes deep into Russia, like on places like Moscow, with NATO materials and weapons and everything else, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's going to start to happen. And there's other telltale signs that there is a bit of an escalation. That's why there's dragon teeth going up in Lithuania. That's why there was a national emergency thingy that was practiced yesterday in the state of Germany, country of Germany. All this is getting prepped for a larger war. Because the people in Washington, permanent Washington, they think that Russia needs to be taken out. They think it's too large. They think it needs to be broken up, balkanized. And for some reason, they think that inevitably we can win a nuclear war. And we can't. No one wins. Everybody dies. Everything dies. I mean, yeah, some portions of life will find a way, but I mean, at the expense of 90% of everything else. So, you're a prepper, probably. I would strongly suggest you watch this story. The reason why is because, well, if you start to see major strikes on larger villages, towns, cities, and inevitably the capital of Russia, you will see a real world war unfold afterwards. So, incredibly concerning. Friends, I appreciate you. If you want this kind of information a little bit earlier than the rest, you can become a member here. It's a couple dollars a month. Whenever I find something important, I put it out immediately to my members here in a post in the community. And there are other ways. Of course, I'm on Gab, Minds, X, Truth, and Subscribestar and Locals for the information that's not quite as easy to find. I think that those are going to become more popular as things unfold on the freedom to see kind of tip. Engage, hit the like button, do all this, the things. Subscribe if you're new here, and I appreciate your support, friends. Really, sincerely. So we'll come back tonight. We'll do another one live, and we'll see you on the next one.